There was a beautiful girl who disappeared in this town. And after 4 days, her entire family came out to look for her. But there's something very strange about all of this. Because while looking for their daughter, parents found some very scary things that made them question everything. It had been 4 long days since anyone had seen Mary. She was an excellent student and a diligent worker. Every night she would go to work at the restaurant, and every morning she would come back home on time. But this time, after she left work, she didn't return home. The whole family was very worried because Mary was a very responsible girl and she never did anything to make them worry. So when they couldn't see her coming home after work, they started to get really scared. The police were also involved in the investigation, but so far there were no leads or clues that could indicate where she might be or what may have happened to her. Her parents couldn't take it anymore and decided to do whatever it takes to find their daughter. So they called all of Mary's friends to ask if she went to their house. But all the friends said no, they hadn't heard from her for a few days. Her mother couldn't hold back her tears. It was already the 4th day since her daughter disappeared. Nobody had any answers for them. All the neighbors were outside searching for her. They looked everywhere, behind the houses, in the gardens, and even asked the stray animals if they had seen her. But nobody knew anything. But then, when they least expected, something caught the attention of one of the neighbors. It was a man named George. He was a very quiet man who mostly kept to himself. But today he was different. He seemed very nervous. George was sweating. His hands were shaking and his face was pale. Everyone noticed how strange he was acting, so they decided to confront him and ask what was wrong. George didn't know how to answer. He tried to say that everything was fine, but everyone could see that he was lying. After a few moments of silence, he finally broke down and told them that he knew what had happened to the girl. Everyone was shocked. Finally, someone knew something about her disappearance. George said that a few days ago, he saw a group of men dragging Mary into a van. He didn't know who they were or why they did it, but he said he was sure that those men had something to do with her disappearance. The moment George said that, all the parents got very angry and scared. They felt helpless because they couldn't do anything to save their children. They wanted to go after the men, but there were too many of them, and besides, they didn't know where they lived or worked. So they decided to wait until the police arrived and told them everything George had just said. The officers were very grateful for the information, but they said they needed more evidence before they could do anything. And so everyone waited for the police while they kept looking for clues around the neighborhood, but sadly, nothing was found. When the police arrived, they took the statement from George and then they all dispersed. They said they would keep looking for the girl, but no one believed them. Everyone thought they were doing a bad job because they had already spent 3 days looking for her and still had no leads. Meanwhile, Mary's parents were not willing to give up. They wanted to do something themselves, but they didn't know what. Then Mary's father remembered that she had told them that she had recently met a guy at the restaurant where she worked. Maybe he could know something about what had happened to her. So they went to the restaurant to look for him. They asked the manager if he knew which guy she was talking about, but he said that he didn't know. He said that maybe one of the other waiters knew who it was, but he wasn't sure. And that's when one of the waiters approached them and said, "I think I know which guy you're talking about. I saw him leave the restaurant a few hours after Mary did. Maybe we should tell the police." "That's exactly what we're going to do," replied Mary's father. "Thank you for your help. Can you remember which way he went?" "Yes, he went straight down that road over there," said the waiter, pointing in one direction. "And then he turned left on Oak Street." "Okay, thank you very much," said Mary's dad. "We'll take it from here." As soon as they had the new lead, Mary's parents rushed to the car and drove off to find the guy. When they got to the corner where the waiter had indicated, they saw 2 streets. One was named Oak Street and the other was named Willow Street. They didn't know which one they should go down, so they decided to go down both of them at the same time. As they drove down Willow Street, They saw a man standing by the side of the road. He was tall and thin, just like the guy at the restaurant. Mary's parents stopped the car and got out. They went up to the man and asked if he knew anything about their daughter's disappearance. The man said yes and explained that he was the guy from the restaurant. He said that he had seen Mary talking to a strange man the day she disappeared. He said the man had asked her something and she had answered him. Then the man had grabbed her hand and dragged her into his car. Mary's parents were shocked. Finally, they knew what had happened to her. The man had kidnapped her. They thanked the guy for telling them everything he knew and said goodbye. They were now on a mission to find their daughter. They drove fast and carefully through the city, looking for any sign of their daughter. They passed by supermarkets, parks, schools, hospitals, anything where she could be taken. They searched everywhere, but she was nowhere to be found. Then, suddenly, Mary's mom spotted something in the back seat of a car. It was a pink backpack. It was exactly like the one Mary always carried. Without thinking twice, they followed the car. They didn't know where it was going, but they hoped that it would lead them to their daughter. The car stopped in front of an old house. A man got out and picked up the bag. Then he went inside. Mary's parents were hiding in the car watching him. They knew that if they revealed themselves, they would scare him away and maybe he would hurt Mary, so they had to be careful. When the man entered the house, they got out of the car and quietly opened the front door. Inside, they could hear him walking around. They couldn't see anything because it was dark, but they could listen. Suddenly, they heard a voice. "Where are my parents? Why am I here? Let me out of here." It was Mary. Without thinking twice, Mary's parents ran upstairs to try and find her. They opened the first door they saw and there was Mary locked in a room. She was crying and scared, but she was okay. Her parents hugged her and were so happy to see her again. They told her that they were there to rescue her and that everything was going to be all right. Then they started to look for the man who had kidnapped her, but he had already escaped. As soon as the police arrived and entered the house, they found the man hiding in the closet. He was arrested and taken away. Everyone was happy because Mary was found safe and sound. Her parents couldn't stop thanking the man who had helped them find her. He had saved her life. After that day, Mary became closer to her parents. She knew that she could always count on them for anything.